everyone, welcome back to the podcast. My name is Tay and I'm your host. Thank you so much for tuning back in to another episode. And I just want to say thank you so much for all of the support that I have been getting, the listens, the downloads. Thank you so much for tuning in. And also thank you for the ratings that I've been getting. Don't forget, on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, go ahead and give me a rating. Takes 2 seconds to give me a star rating. And if you want to go a little bit extra, please leave me a written review in Apple Podcasts and tell me how much you love the show. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. Okay, so as we all know, spring has sprung. Okay, the first day of spring was March 20th, this past Sunday. And yeah, so the weather here in Virginia, it's not screaming spring. Um, we've gotten some warm days, but the upcoming days it's gonna be kind of cold. Like this weekend, it's gonna be cold. I'm gonna need jackets and jeans, but I'm hoping within the next couple weeks the temperatures increase and we get some of that warmer weather. It is raining, so we are getting the showers. So hopefully, the rain lets up, the sun comes out, and we'll be all good. This episode of the podcast is gonna be focused on apartment hunting, moving, pros and cons, and just some tips that I wanted to add in when looking for apartments and when moving. Just to help on your apartment search and try to make it as less stressful as possible. It's going to be stressful, but try to ease up. Hopefully my tips help. The weekend I had, whew, okay, so I have another story. This is my moving story. So, the moving. A lot of my stuff got damaged and broken. One of the main things that got broken was my big screen TV. You know, the TV that goes in your living room. You know, that one? Yes, broken. It's like cracked in the middle. And you know how you turn the TV on and it's all of those colored lines going up and down. No picture, no nothing. TV's gone. I could get it fixed, but I'm not. I'm just going to get a brand new TV. But luckily, I do get reimbursed for things that has been broken and damaged. Like, for instance, my headboard got scratched, my dresser got scratched, and my home decor, like a lot of my things for like holiday, like Christmas and fall, a lot of those things got broken, like shattered. Like I opened the box, you open the paper, glass is just shattered in there. So that sucks. And then also like the moving company, like the movers, they were, very rude. They didn't really care about my stuff, I feel like. And I know like the movers in these companies, they're overworked. You can tell. Like you could tell they're overworked, but at the end of the day, you still have to care and be careful when it comes to people's belongings and personal items. I had a meltdown that day because it was just one thing after another. It was my mattress, it was my TV, it was the scratches on my furniture, it was my vanity doesn't even work. Like, the vanity with the lights. Half the lights don't even work because the wiring got like pulled out and it's the kind of wiring that you can't put it back in. So it's just non salvageable, so I have to get another one. But like I mentioned before, it can be replaced because I can get reimbursed. But it's like so annoying because I love my stuff and pay good money for it, but it is what it is. It's just one of the things that's a part of moving. That's gonna be one of my cons that I'm gonna mention later on in the episode when it comes to moving. That's what I've been doing, trying to get everything unpacked and set up this week. Also, last weekend, I had a solo date night, and it was so like a spur of the moment kind of thing. Like, it wasn't something I planned the whole week or the day before. I literally got up that day, was cleaning, and I was just like, I want to get cute. I want to put on my makeup, I want to do my hair, and I want to go out to eat. And I just went by myself. I like when I do solo date nights, like I'll just sit at the bar. Sometimes I'll get a table if I feel like it, but most of the times I'll sit at the bar at the restaurant and just chill. I think I've mentioned this in previous episodes, but dating yourself is so important. It doesn't matter if you're in a relationship with your significant other. That doesn't mean you can't date yourself. Like, I highly recommend take yourself to breakfast, take yourself to lunch, take yourself to dinner, or if you want to go to the movies, like little activities like that. I feel like doing alone is very healthy because I feel like you get to know yourself. So, we're going to talk about some TV shows and movies. So, I have two. I have one movie and I have one TV show. The movie I'm going to mention is called No Exit. It's on Hulu. It's actually new. A couple weeks old, I feel like, at this point, because when I watched it, it was on Hulu for about a couple days. So the movie's a thriller and it's about a group of people. They get stuck in a visitor center. I think it is a visitor center for a snowstorm. And of course, these are all strangers to each other. So, well, you'll think they're strangers at first. You have to watch. But of course, they're strangers to each other. And, things start happening. There's killing, there's kidnapping, and all the things that in a thriller. And the man that does the Allstate commercials, I cannot remember his name, but he's in that movie. That was the only familiar face for me in that movie was the Allstate commercial guy. I cannot think of his name, but it's a really good movie. Recommend. But it's about I give it like out of a 10, I give it like a 7. It was a good movie. It kept my attention the whole movie. And then TV show I'm going to mention is Candy and the Gang. So, I feel like this show is like the perfect amount of drama. So, we all know I like reality TV shows. No secret. I like it. So Candy and the Gang, like I said, I feel like it has the right amount of drama. It's not too much and then it's not like super boring. It's like right in the middle because with if you haven't seen it, the show was based around her restaurant OLG, and OLG is Candy's mom and her sisters. So with the show, I like that they're so involved in it because you really want to know what Mama Joyce, Aunt Nora, and Aunt Bertha, you want to know what they got to say because they always got something to say and they're so funny. So I really like that they're so involved in the show. Also, the one episode, I don't know if this was the first or the second episode in OLG in the restaurant, the power went out. And I think they're filming in her first location, like the first OLG that she opened, because she has a couple locations now. But I think they're filming in the first one. And the power went out. And Candy, she doesn't, her and Todd, they never got a generator for that building. And they're like, yeah, this happens often, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I know. I know those people is mad in that restaurant because it looked like it was summertime when they were filming. So they in there, they're hot. I'm like, Candy knows she wrong for not having a generator. I'm gonna need her to get one. That's a little shady, okay? Shady of Candy to not have a generator for the restaurant, and they say that power goes out kind of often. So I'm like the hostess that works there, one of the people on the show, her name is Chandrika. She was like, "This is normal. Welcome to day in OLG." Like she was just not phased by it. So I was like, Candy, she knows she need to get that. When I went to Atlanta, I didn't even go to OLG. I should have because the food looks so good. But my next trip to Atlanta, going to OLG, it's just honestly the lines. Like OLG have a 2 hours, 3 hour wait. It's long lines at OLG. You got to be there, but because it's lines down the street before the restaurant even opens. So that's how packed it be. But yeah, back to the show. So yeah, I feel like it has the right amount of drama. Brian on there, he is so funny. I love his personality. I feel like it's a good buffer in between while they're filming The Housewives of Atlanta because that's what I'm waiting to come on. So it's a good little buffer. And I feel like right towards the end of Candy and the Gang, that's when they're going to have the Real Housewives of Atlanta premiere. So hopefully that comes. But yeah, I like that show. And I'm looking for more shows to watch. So DM me on Instagram if you have some more shows. My Instagram is always linked in the show notes. So also, like I mentioned before, spring is here. We're in the spring season. Let me know, do you guys change out your perfume scents? Is there like perfume scents you have in your collection where this is more for the fall and winter, these are more for the spring, summer? I know I have that, and it's one in particular that I think of for spring, and it's Miss Dior. I can't remember. I think it's the roses. The roses one by Miss Dior. That one is like ultimate springtime for me, and that's actually the fragrance that I wore when I went on my solo date night. Like when I think of spring summer, I think of that fragrance. That's the first thing that comes to mind. But yeah, as far as like candles as well, like I put away my winter candles, got some spring candles out. Well, yeah, they're about spring. I feel like spring and summer, they're about the same, like interchangeable scents. So yeah, I have those scents out now. But yeah, let me know. Are you the type to burn like the same scents? Because some scents, yes, you can burn all year round. Like, like clean, fresh scents, like 2 scents, laundry day and linen sheets. Those candles from Bath and Body Works smell so good. Those are something that you light when you get done cleaning. You just did a deep, fresh clean on a Saturday. Like, yes. Okay, so now I'm going to get into my questions of the week. Okay, so usually I'll do a question and a poll, but sometimes I'll just do a poll. Sometimes I'll just do questions. This time I just did questions. I have 2 questions that I asked on my Instagram story. So, like I mentioned before, I do these on Sundays on my Instagram. So the question is, do you have any trips planned this spring season? And some responses were they're going to North Carolina for Dreamville Fest. I've never heard of that. I'm gonna have to look that up, Dreamville Fest, because that sounds fun. Another response was Atlanta, of course. Love Atlanta. Go to OLG. You're going to Atlanta, go to OLG. The only person I know that has been to OLG and has confirmed their food is good is my sister. She said their food is fire. Another one I got, another response, New Orleans. Yes, you're going to have a good time in New Orleans. Definitely recommend Maro's. I talked about that in my last episode. Great food, great vibe, great music. Loved it there. Oh, NYC, Orlando, Hawaii. Yes, these are all. Listen, it's Hawaii for me. I want to go. First of all, what? I want to go to Hawaii. I've never been. I need to go. Okay, so the next question that I asked was, what's your favorite thing about spring? And one response was flowers and sunshine. Can definitely agree. The cherry blossoms are blossoming. Yes, we love flowers. And sunshine. Like sunshine, it's weird. It's crazy because I never realized how much sunshine like boosts your mood. Like I know when I get up the next morning and the sun is out, like you want to be productive, you want to go work out, you want to clean up or do whatever you have to do to be productive that day. The sun is out, it just boosts your mood because I know on gloomy days and dark days where it's just cloudy, you don't want to do anything. Because at least for me, like I don't want to do anything on those days. I just want to lounge all day. Like, so yes, flowers and sunshine is definitely something to look forward to in the spring. And another one I got was Easter chocolates. And I definitely can agree because I definitely just bought some Easter chocolates. I got some little chocolate Easter bunnies. It's the milk chocolate ones, and then they have caramel inside. Like once you bite into the caramels comes out, and it's sea salt caramel. So yeah, it's like sweet and salty. I love that. Also, caramel or caramel. One of those words again that you could say different. I say caramel. I feel like I say both. I say caramel, but sometimes I'll say caramel. I probably just said caramel. I can't remember if I just say caramel both times or caramel. Can't remember, but I feel like I say both. Okay, sidetrack. Get back on track. But yes, the Easter chocolates, I can agree. My favorite thing about spring that I can say is the weather because it's not summer where it's super hot, like 90 degrees. It's a good like 60s or 70s. Sometimes it get up to 80s depending on where you are. But one thing I like about spring is the weather. And also, I like Easter. I like the holiday Easter. I like the activities that you do, the Easter egg hunt, Easter baskets, decorating the Easter eggs and getting all the candy. It's definitely one of those holidays that you get an excuse to eat a lot of candy. Cause that's me. I like candy. Okay, so let's get into the apartment hunting and moving pros and cons and a few tips. Okay, so we're gonna start with the pros. The first pro that I have written down is making new friends. I feel like this is a pro because when you meet different people, you can learn different things. You can actually make new connections and network. Like people now they do so many different things from if you're on the creative side, the corporate side, and business, and all the things you can really make friends and make connections as well. So another pro that I wrote down specifically for my situation is being closer to family. I know being military, I've been away, like far away from my family for years now, and it's nice to be like a drive away, like a 2 hour drive or a 5 hour drive, versus having to get on like a 3 or 4 hour flight. Yeah, it's nice being in driving distance. Even though I hate driving, still hate it, but it's nice to have that option to drive, and I can get up and I don't have to get up 6 in the morning, even though I might want to get up early because of traffic, but I don't have to. And another pro, and this can be a pro and a con depending on your vibe, but this is a pro for me, being in a bigger city. I feel like this is a pro because there are so many things to do here. When it comes to restaurants, going to museums, going shopping, heavy on the restaurants because I like to eat and I like to try different things. I've been to a couple restaurants here and the food fire, but even though it's more expensive and more people, but I like being in the bigger city for now. I don't feel like this is something I could do forever, but just for now. Like I'm fun. Like I'm young. I'm in my 20s. Want to have fun. I want to go to all the brunches, day parties, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, this is a bigger city is where you want to be for that kind of stuff. Last pro that I have is a chance to start fresh, and this could be for any aspect of your life and perfect for spring cleaning. So, talked about it's spring, of course. One of like the highlights of the episode is it being spring now. So when you move into a new apartment, you have a blank canvas. So like when I moved in my apartment, I before I got all my furniture, I went in and I just scrubbed this apartment, swept and mopped and Lysoled, wiped everything down and just started fresh. I feel like moving, you can start fresh with decor as well. Like if you want to update your decor and go ahead and redecorate your apartment, like I feel like moving is the perfect because like I said, you get the blank canvas. So it's perfect for that. Okay, so we talked about the pros. Now let's get into the cons. So one of the cons that I have down, the first one is being away from family, depending on how far you're moving. That could be a con because family can be there for you, especially like if you have kids and stuff, like, you might have close knit family to watch your kids while you go to work and while you do other things. So being away from family is definitely a con because you don't get that. Oh, let me just get up and go to my cousin's house. Let me just get up and go to my granny house. You don't have that when you're out of town. But you have to grow some way. And if moving away from your hometown is a way that you'll grow, you got to do it. Because I'm happy I did it. Okay, another con when it comes to when it comes to moving is packing and unpacking. So just like in my situation, your things can get broken, unfortunately, and it could go from the time they load it on the truck, when they change trucks, when they unload it, when they bring it up the stairs, if they just drop it, these are your personal things, and yes, your things can get damaged if you're not moving all of your belongings yourself. When you have moving companies, these are the risks. But most moving companies, I feel, even if it's non military, because I feel like my mom says she's going to get reimbursed for some of her stuff too. I feel like all moving companies should reimburse you. Don't quote me on that. I have no idea. But I feel like that's a thing. Even if you're non military, like you're just moving with a company, they should reimburse you for breaking your things. And another con that I have, and this is like an overall thing, and it's stress. So stress can come with not finding the apartment you want, an apartment that you want gets taken, like I mentioned, your stuff being broken. How are you going to pay for it if you don't get reimbursed enough? Just small stressors when it comes to moving. Pricing, that definitely can be a stressor. Here's another con. Like I said before, this could be a pro and a con. And again, bigger city, because a bigger city means more noises, more people, more traffic, more things to do, but which is the pro, but it comes with the cons, like more people, more traffic. It's just more of everything. So it could be more good things and more bad things. I wouldn't say bad, but things that you don't want. But yeah, that brings me to my last con is pricing, especially if you're in a big city. Prices is high. Just like gas prices high right now, apartment pricing is high, especially in a big city. Like I know people like in smaller towns, they're complaining about $800, $900 rent. And I'm like, listen, it gets worse. It gets higher. Don't complain just yet. Because the rent gets higher the bigger the city. And don't get me wrong, like even in a big city, you could find some apartments that's on the lower end of the rent scale, but you get what you pay for, I feel like, when it comes to that kind of thing. Okay, so I'm going to get into some tips that you should have when looking for a house or an apartment. So, first tip I have is have a checklist of things that you want. Whether you want a 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 1 bath, 2 bath, you want a open concept, you want a dishwasher, you want a laundry room, all of these things that you want. Of course, you're going to have to sacrifice some things, but make sure you have things written down of like, okay, these are my must haves. And another thing you should think about when looking for an apartment or house is how long is the commute to work? I feel like that's big, especially if you live in an area that has a lot of traffic. That's a big one. And how long is your commute to nearby things like grocery stores, department shopping, and restaurants? I feel like if you have to drive more than 15 minutes to a grocery store, it's too far. I don't know. I guess for me, that's kind of far. So I feel like those things should be in at least 15 minutes or less. At least if you have like a shopping center or something, a grocery store, a few restaurants, maybe a TJ Maxx nearby or Target, all of those things. I feel like those should be close by too. Like if that's okay. I know some people, they don't mind driving 30 minutes. I don't want to drive 30 minutes to a Target or to the grocery store. Like I feel like those things should be close. Another tip I have is have a security system. There's so many security systems I know out here now. And I know a lot of people, I feel like this is something that a lot of people have gotten over the years, but especially nowadays, people are crazy. People follow you, and it's crazy out here. And having a security system will give you that extra like sense of relief. You'll feel safe. And if most of them, you can have the camera right on your phone, like the app, and you can just log into the app and just look outside just to make sure that you're safe. And the last tip I have when it comes to moving is know your budget. Knowing your budget is key when it comes to moving, because some apartments, they can talk you into something and kind of pressure you into getting something that you don't even want. And if you're easily influenced and you're like timid and you don't know what to do, just always stick to your budget, stick to your guns, have it written down. This is what I want. This is what I'm willing to spend. And some apartments will negotiate with you and work with you when it comes to pricing and all that stuff. So definitely know your budget and know what you're willing and not willing to spend for what you're getting. So yeah, those were all my tips and pros and cons of moving. I'm sure there's so much more, but those are the things that I thought of. Let me know if you have any. Like I said, DM me on Instagram. Let me know if you have any pros and cons or your moving experiences. I like to hear little stories. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for tuning back into another episode. And I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Talk to you next week. Bye.